violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
In Memphis, the multi-day search for a kidnapped teacher has come to a tragic end. Police say they have identified the body of 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher, the kindergarten teacher who was abducted while jogging early Friday morning.
Wow. So you've got a glider kindergarten teacher abducted while she was jogging. You know, very tragic story. There's really nothing that she could do about the situation. I mean, I'm sure she tried to put up a fight. I'm sure she tried to do all that she could to resist. But she was outmatched by the super gremlin on demon time.
The suspect in her abduction is now facing additional charges, including first-degree murder. Here's CBS's Elise Preston.
Today is a very sad day in the city of Memphis.
A new gruesome court affidavit reveals tire tracks in a grassy area led investigators to the body of 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher late yesterday afternoon. A trash bag containing purple shorts, like the one she was wearing, was also found.
While the outcome of this investigation is not what we hoped for, we are nonetheless pleased to remove this dangerous predator off the streets of Memphis.
Police say early Friday morning, 38-year-old Cleotha Abston forced the kindergarten teacher and mother of two into an SUV as she...
Wow. And I mean, she's just trying to teach the next generation. Living in Memphis is very dangerous. You know, very sad situation. You know, condolences to the family.
She was out on a run. Abston was arrested the following day. This morning, he was arraigned on charges of especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence. He had already served nearly 20 years in prison in another kidnapping case.
We have no reason to think this was anything other than an isolated attack by a stranger.
A growing show of love for the family is now at the site of Fletcher's abduction. Her family released this statement saying, "We are heartbroken and devastated by this senseless loss."
Did the system fail in this situation?
It looks that way.
It's still not clear exactly how the mother of two was killed. Abston has yet to enter a plea on today's charges. Tomorrow, he'll be arraigned on additional charges, including first-degree murder.
Damn.
If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Nora?
Such an awful story. Elise Preston, thank you very much.
The suspect in the kidnapping and killing of a Memphis kindergarten teacher is due to return to court today to face more charges, including first-degree murder. Memphis police say that they found Eliza Fletcher's body 4 days after she was abducted during an early morning jog. Some critics say the suspect, a convicted kidnapper, should have still been in prison.
See, and that is the problem with criminal justice reform and changing the system and all this kind of stuff. I mean, these guys are getting a slap on the wrist and getting thrown back out here in society. And this is Memphis. This is the South. This is the dirty South, the deep South. Okay. The Jim Crow era South. And these dudes are convicted kidnappers and they're still on the streets and nobody's watching them. They're on, you know, supervised release or whatever type of terms they got for their probation. All in the name of equalizing arrests and having diversity and you know, equal representation in the criminal justice system. It's just not going to happen. It never will. No matter how many of these super gremlins that y'all throw back out here on the streets, it's never going to be equal because we are outpacing everybody when it comes to this killing stuff. Like, straight up, that's just the reality. So it's never going to be equal.
There are a lot of questions here. Elise Preston has the latest on this investigation.
Police Police discovered the body of Eliza Fletcher Monday in a grassy lot behind a vacant duplex, roughly 7 miles from where the kindergarten teacher and mother of 2 was last seen. According to an affidavit, tire tracks and an odor of decay led officers to the gruesome discovery. Also recovered a trash bag containing purple shorts, like the ones Fletcher was last seen wearing.
While the outcome of this investigation is not what we hoped for, we are nonetheless pleased to remove this dangerous predator off the streets of Memphis.
You're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping.
Investigators say 38-year-old Cleotha Abston violently forced Fletcher into his SUV while she was out jogging at about 4 a.m. last Friday. Fletcher's cell phone was found nearby, along with a pair of sandals that had traces of the suspect's DNA. Abston previously kidnapped a prominent Memphis attorney when he was 16 years old.
Wow. I mean, this dude been at it since he was a kid. Should have been locked up. They should have threw away the key on this guy. But he probably completed a program, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he was thrown out for overcrowding. Whatever reason it was, it's insane and shouldn't happen.
Abston served nearly 20 years in prison for that crime, but had been sentenced to 24. Charlie Caswell is a Shelby County commissioner.
You have fought against recidivism here in Memphis for a very long time. Did the system fail in this situation?
I don't know all the details on it, but it looked that way, very much so.
But Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy noted Abston served 85% of his sentence.
I think it's easy to take one particular case and try to extrapolate from that. I think what we just need to do right now is just focus on going forward and making sure that justice is done in this particular case.
Now, the district attorney tells us he has no reason to believe Fletcher was targeted, calling this an isolated attack by a stranger. Abston has yet to enter a plea. In a statement, Fletcher's family...
Oh, she was targeted all right, because let's keep it a buck. She was a glider woman on her own. That made her a target. And, you know, we're going to have to... there needs to be some type of identification for the types of crimes that these dudes are committing, because they're just preying on the weak.
Family called her a joy to so many, saying they are heartbroken and devastated by this senseless loss. Tony?
Senseless is the word for it, Elise. Thank you very much. I mean, it is a bottomless tragedy.
We didn't know this woman, and I feel heartbroken because it's so random that apparently she jogged all the time and that he didn't know her, she didn't know him, and to hear the details about somebody that clearly should not have been out on the streets just makes you angry in addition to all the sadness.
Leaves behind a family, 2 little ones.
Yes, and a husband. It's awful.
WRG's Kwamitra Wilburn shows us some new video reportedly detailing what the suspect, Cleotha Abston, did just a few hours after that abduction.
Surveillance footage shared with WREG shows the moment Cleotha Abston arrived here at the Longview Garden Apartments, allegedly after kidnapping 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher. Just take a look at this video. In the video, it shows Abston arriving at the complex in the SUV used in the kidnapping around 7:57 Friday morning. He sits in the vehicle for a while and then goes to the trunk. From this angle, it's difficult to see exactly what he's doing, but shortly after, he runs to his brother's apartment unit at the Longview Garden Apartments. A few minutes later, he comes back outside, straight to the passenger side of the SUV, where he spends more than an hour. According to court documents, a witness says Abston was in a strange mood and vigorously cleaned the interior of his car with carpet cleaner.
Wow. So, I mean, at least we got witnesses speaking up. At least we got witnesses speaking up in the community saying something was off with this guy.
And washed his clothes in the house sink. Abston faces several charges, including murder in the death of Eliza Fletcher. Her body was found days later, less than a mile away from where Abston cleaned out his vehicle. Reporting in South Memphis, Kwamitra Wilburn, WREG, News Channel.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting
just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak.
I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo! Ain't that nigga J.
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit
That's
on.
that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Eliza Fletcher's body was found last night in South Memphis and was identified early this morning. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Daryl Green.
And I'm Darcy Thomas. The man police arrested for her kidnapping now has murder added to his charges. Cleotha Abston was arrested over the weekend. Now we're going to tell you what happened at his first court hearing today.
But first, let's go to Fox 13's Dominique Dillon. She tells us what's new with this investigation.
Memphis police say Eliza Fletcher's remains were found in this South Memphis neighborhood behind this home here in the 1600 block of Victor Street.
Wow.
Just walking distance from where Memphis police say witnesses saw Cleotha Abston cleaning out the SUV he allegedly used to abduct Fletcher. Now, to give you an idea why it was so hard for officials to find her is because even though they're in the middle of a neighborhood, you can see there's very tall grass shielding the view from the street.
Wow.
I'm 5'5". Take a look at this grass. It's towering over me. Then there's this abandoned home, and we're told Fletcher's remains were found behind this house. Walk with me so you can see beside.
Man, I mean, this guy, he was a monster. He was absolutely a monster. Demon time activities, a horrendous crime, and you know, I really feel bad for the family because I don't know where exactly she was abducted from, but man, I mean, Memphis as a whole is just super hot right now.
These steps here, and you can even see an imprint in the dirt right here.
While the outcome of this investigation is not what we hoped for, we are nonetheless pleased to remove this dangerous predator off the streets of Memphis.
After finding 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher's body, police filed 2 more charges against Cleotha Abston Tuesday morning: first-degree murder and first-degree murder in preparation of kidnapping.
Still uncovering various leads. This is an ongoing investigation. That's a possibility. But at this time, no one else has been charged.
An affidavit released Tuesday reveals new details about Fletcher's final moments. Investigators say data from the FBI CAS team, which is used to track cell phones, led them to East Person Avenue and Victor Street. While searching that area Monday, just after 5, they say officers noticed high grass at a vacant home, as well as vehicle tracks in the high grass. Officers also smelled an odor of decay. We're told the officers fanned out and walked to the back of the property. Immediately to the right of the steps, they say they found a woman's body.
Further forensic investigation by the MPD traffic unit positively identified the body was, in fact, Eliza Fletcher.
The affidavit says at 6:15 Monday evening, a discarded trash bag was found in the 1500 block of South Orleans Street. In it were the purple Lululemon shorts Fletcher was last seen wearing. The affidavit says surveillance video shows a 2013 black GMC Terrain the day of the kidnapping at 5:52 a.m. turned southwest onto Havana Street. Another camera on Havana Street then showed the vehicle turn on Marjorie Street and finally westbound onto Person Avenue.
No reason to think this was anything other than an isolated attack by a stranger.
Memphis police say they believe this was an isolated, random attack. At this point in time, no one else has been charged, but this is an ongoing investigation, and if anyone else is involved, more charges could come. Back to you.
Now, again, the man charged in this case is charged with her murder.
We're talking about Cleotha Abston. He faced the judge this morning for the very first time. Fox 13's Jerry Pierre breaks down what happened in court and why Abston will be back in court tomorrow.
Cleotha Abston walked into the courtroom heavily guarded as he faced a judge.
And he don't give a damn. Look at his attitude. And this is, I mean, they keep talking about, oh, we get sentenced disproportionately 20% greater when it comes to years. And it's just like, bro, he don't have no remorse. What is a judge supposed to do?
For the first time since being arrested over the weekend. The media, Eliza Fletcher's family, and prosecutors are the only people the judge allowed in the courtroom for the hearing. Newly elected Shelby County District Attorney General Steve Mulroy even made an appearance. The judge arraigned Abston on his charges of aggravated kidnapping, tampering with evidence, theft, identity theft, and fraudulent use of a credit card. Some of those charges are not connected to Fletcher's abduction and death. Abston's bond increased from $500,000 to $510,000. The judge did not arraign Abston on first-degree murder or kidnapping in perpetration of murder because MPD announced those charges an hour after the court hearing. Mulroy, less than a week into office as DA, addressed the case and the stance he is taking on violent crimes in Shelby County. Less than a week as the Shelby County District Attorney.
Yes.
Obviously, this is a big case. What are you going to do to send a message?
Well, I mean, the message that we're doing is what we're sending right now, which is that public safety is our absolute #1 priority.
Man, look. They ain't sending no damn message.
We're going to take repeat violent offender situations very seriously. Repeat violent offender situations deserve a strong response. That's the kind of response we're going to get from the DA's office.
Abston told the judge he could not afford an attorney. A public defender told the judge she wanted a gag order on the case.
Broke and dusty.
The judge told her to submit the motion in writing and he would rule on it later. Abston will be back in court again tomorrow morning to be arraigned on the murder charges. At 201 Poplar, Jeremy Pierre, Fox 13 News.
Now make sure you tune in tomorrow for Good Morning Memphis as we have live coverage of Abston's court appearance on the updated charges. Well, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland sent out a statement today on Fletcher. Eliza Fletcher. Now it reads, quote, "There is evil in this world. My heart breaks for Eliza and her family, all victims of evil. I thank the FBI, TBI, Sheriff's Office, ATF, U.S. Marshals, and
when he speaks on that evil, man, I mean, he's basically saying what I'm saying. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Especially the men and women of the Memphis Police Department who work tirelessly and skillfully, as they always do, to solve this horrific crime. I hope that whoever is guilty of this heinous crime and any such crime is removed from society and punished to the fullest extent of the law."
Now keep in mind, Eliza Fletcher was a mother, she was a wife, she was a daughter, and she was a teacher of elementary school children.
Now we found a clip on YouTube of her singing to her students just a few years ago.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine.
Our coverage on the kidnapping and murder of Eliza Fletcher, it is not over.
And coming up at 9:30, we'll hear from the University of Memphis students about how this story is impacting them because it happens so near their campus. Any concerns they have as far as safety goes.
Gang violence and other kind of